Grüezi, hello, and welcome to this session. Efficient service processes and a fast SAP Field Service Management implementation. How this is possible with the proaxia accelerators is what I like to show you using the meter change process. My name is Peter Brack. I am responsible for FSM consulting at proaxia. The proaxia Consulting is an internationally operating consulting company with a headquarters in Switzerland. Our strategic focus is on sales and service processes, especially in the industries of individual production, manufacturing, utilities, and automotive industries. And across different industries, we have been around for more than 10 years with a lot of service management, field service management solutions. So this is what we see here. Since 2011, we've done many projects with an integration to SAP. In 2011, the solution was still a core suite solution. This was taken over, I think it was in 2018, by SAP. With core systems in 2011, we built the first integration between this mobile field service solution and SAP ECC backend. For those 10 years, we have done a lot of projects, and you see here some examples of customer projects. And the experience that we have is what we brought together in accelerators. So we've seen that there is definitely potential in different places to optimize a process, and that's the reason why we've built those accelerators. They're actually just like best practices with an implementation framework where we can actually do things custom-oriented. So that means we have better optimized processes on the one hand, and we have a faster implementation phases in the project if we can use the accelerators. For example, in the area of utilities, we have built some such accelerators. These support the processes that we see here on the list, and the top one I want to talk about later on. And for the others, just like house connection, construction projects, etc., we also have those accelerators available to introduce optimized processes quickly. I would now like to talk about this meter change process and show you how it works. Before that, something like where are our accelerators? Where are they built in? It's important to understand. So what we see here on the picture is the sequence of an end-to-end. So an end-to-end process of a service order. So on the very left-hand side, you have a customer query or a request, an order, so a request, whatever, for repair or maintenance. And in the ECC backend, a service order is generated. This is assigned to a technician in the scheduling, and this one in turn captures the data of the job. So the feedbacks, the confirmations, and so on and so forth, and they are stored in the SAP ECC. So now we have built in those accelerators in various places. So on the one hand, and the top when entering a job in SAP. So this means the accelerators already collect data in the system and also give it together with the order so that we can, for example, fill out a checklist, that we already have data from the objects. For example, when we have the meter change, that we already give the equipment of the meter. So those are accelerators that we need at the entrance. And then on this page down, at the service technicians, we have built these very specific checklists, which use the data that is provided in the first step, that they display there and are confirmed there. So that means when the service technician is done with the confirmation, and as soon as the confirmations are sent to the backend, here in the backend, we have some of those accelerators as well where in principle we provide the logic as to how the reader needs to be confirmed and booked in SAP. So, for example, we have a migration movement here. So we change a meter here, built it out, built it in. And this actually is what our accelerators ensure. So now let's get to the process of the meter change. This process consists of 4 steps. So first of all, we have the generation of the order of the process, the job, and then the second phase is a technician is assigned. Then in step 3, the service technician actually confirms what he has done, so which material was needed and what has been done. And in the 4th step, the automatic booking. So as I showed you before in this process. I would like to show you something within the system, a short demo, where we can see how a technician is scheduled. So I brought a short video for that, and we see here the surface of the Field Service Management. And if we start the second button, the scheduling, we see the following. So we see the schedule. So in the upper part, we see the service technicians. And on the right-hand side, we see the time frame or the timeline. And then at the bottom, there are the created orders, therefore dispositions, so that they can be actually assigned to and planned. So now I can actually enter the order and show, okay, what is or who is a suited and suitable technician. There are different criteria you can do. So, for example, we have one which is quickest. So this is actually the person who is quickest to the customer. This is actually something we don't want to have. So we just click on the best. And best means it's a technician that has certain skills. So that means we use this technician that was actually recommended by the system. And this is actually the one that has the qualification we need, and I can pick this person. So after we've done it, we see that the order actually is now scheduled for this specific technician. So for a meter change, the situation is like this. So a technician comes to your home and wants to go to the basement or to a certain room in order to find the gas or the electricity meter and to change it. So that somebody needs to be at home. So what is very important is the appointments with the customer so that they are at home. So now after this order is scheduled, what happens automatically is an email is sent out automatically, and the email contains basically the date, the appointment, when the technician will come, and you have the opportunity, just by clicking this link, to get to a portal, to an FSM portal, in order to reschedule this appointment. So I see an open service request. I see the appointment as it is now, and I want to change my appointment because I'm not there on the requested one. So I can give a time span, for example, the 16th between 3 and 6 p.m. And then what happens now is the automatic scheduling is carried out in the backend, in the background, and I have 3 results. And if the customer picks one, this appointment is set in the schedule, and this appointment is assigned to the technician immediately. So we see it here, the schedule, and at the top right corner, the appointment actually has been put there. So it was automatically just assigned anew. So we can either confirm it and send the technician, or what we can do is we can assign another person, but the appointment for the customer is set. So if we do that in the scheduling, we approve it, and the service technician gets a message that he now has a new activity that he needs to take care of. So let me just access my iPad. So the SAP FSM runs on iOS or Android and also on Windows PCs or computers. So, well, service technician, right? Exactly. So he received the service request, the service order. He can now click on this activity and can have a look at the data. So he can scroll down, so he sees the equipments that are needed and so on and so forth. And for the meter change, there is a specific checklist. So the technician actually just picks out the checklist, edits it, and here he gets the data from the different meters. So first of all, in the checklist, it's about to read the values, the measure values. So we have two of them. So in total, we have four. So here I have the first one and the last one actually that needs to be set and entered and edited. But it's very easy to enter the values of the meter reading. So here we have the last one, the last value. And therefore, the values have been read out. And if needed, I can also take a picture of the meter. So it's quite handy to do that, and it can also be stored and saved in this file. And then the last step is actually just the building in of the new meter. So here we have the opportunity just to scan the barcode. So the technician takes out the meter from his box. There is a barcode on it, or it's somewhere in the bag or something like that, and he can pick the right one. This is important because this equipment will be brought back and built into the hierarchy later on. So you can also take a picture of the new meter and also add some notes. And with that, the effective meter change process is done. In the next step, what the utility companies do is a finding recording. So that means if a technician is on site and he sees something that is not good, whether it's something directly for his assignment or if he sees that something is not good with the gas line. So that's actually what we have right now in this case. So the gas pipeline has been built over. You can't go to the meter anymore. There's a finding. A finding is now being recorded for this flat and for this customer. And this also has consequences later on. So the utility company will approach the client and see that this problem is remedied. I can then also add standard text. That is something we have defined then for this finding. Now, the meter change process is completely finished. I just enter the working time, working hours, and how much and how long did I work on this part. And now I can close this activity with the checkout. So the report is now saved and can be, if needed, be signed by the customer. This is fully configurable, and of course you can do it if necessary. Now we have completely finished the service support. Now the next step is that the technician syncs his mobile device, so an iOS or his laptop. So he synchronizes the application. And when syncing, all the data that has now been recorded are written back into the SAP. And as I said before, we've built quite a lot of logic in there so that this meter change process can be accounted for virtually automatically. So that means that equipment doesn't have to be changed manually or materials recorded or anything like that. So this is completely covered with the SAP. So these were the 4 steps. So technician planning, and what was important there was the inclusion of the end customer. So that we don't go there for nothing, because that happens very often when you don't do that. So what do our customers say if we implement FSM SAP? So for early con mid-call, for example, the whole process is 50% faster. So from the planning, from the technician and from the back office. So at Energy 360, they can book 70% of all orders that come in directly automatically without manual interaction. And with Cardex, we were able to reduce the time frame from service provision to invoicing by 60%. And those are very nice values that we were able to achieve. So what I would like to give you with you are 3 points. The first one is the digitization of the field service processes with SAP FSM has measurable benefits. This is what we've just seen. The second point is to support efficient processes and fast implementation. We can really score with these FSM accelerators of proaxia. Here, the processes, the end-to-end processes can be made friendlier to the customer because they can be highly automated, and the integration can be automated to a higher degree. And this is actually an advantage and possible with the accelerators. The third point is we have been carrying out for more than 10 years the variety of core system solutions from SAP, and we would be happy to do your projects together. So thank you very much, and that's it. Goodbye.